It's time for the visit with the person of high strangeness. Guess what? We are almost at the end of the line. We have
Now
Roadrunner
let me
number
tell you a
13,
story here.
and next week we're gonna wind it
Last
all up.
week I
I
told you
promise
that
that this
we
is going
had
to be good. I'm tired.
this show was pretty okay, but
To
some
be
kind
honest,
of
some
way it
challenges.
wasn't.
Everybody was sick. We gained
And
weight. We lost get weight. And
I'm gonna talk over this here.
so as
This
I'm
is show
trying to
number
find some
13
clothes, I found
of
all
the
kinds of
series
stuff. Many
Roadrunner.
pieces I've been looking for
And
years. And in my favorite
as
one,
I'm looking
I'll show
for
you later.
everything and everything
So when we travel,
connected
I
with
find
number
very
13 that
organized food for
got
every
lost
single
somewhere
meal
along
I
the line,
cook.
I found a hat, I
Everything's in the trunk.
found all
The
kinds of
trunks are my
things.
companions. I
We
call
are
them
still on the
companions.
way home,
They have
and
announced it because everything has to be a certain way.
anyway, here's the
And
story. In 2000, in
that's what we
April of
have. So we're now on
2006,
Highway
Tina
14.
as a
And
sponsor, and I made a trip to California. This is the
yeah,
series
so
that you are
then you're
watching.
home. So we are on
Then
our way home from Big
the
Bear,
um,
California.
the
And yeah,
actual
this is a
inserts
long clip.
were taped in
It's not
August of
edited. I'm gonna show you
2006.
in a moment.
The intent was
And
to
when we
air
talk about
everything in
history, I know that
2007.
what
Well, in the
everybody thinks
meantime,
about
Ebony and I went on the road
and in the meantime, I'm
and
gonna
made a
start
trip
off by
in some kind of
apologizing for
way.
the accent
When we
I have
came back, we
because I
decided to
always
reverse
have
the
to
whole
watch it.
process, and we aired Ebony and Ivory instead. And at the time, what we didn't know was that where Ebony and I had went, we filmed houses, we went to Hollywood, we went all kinds of places. And most of the highways that Ebony and I had went on were on fire later on in the year. Actually, what was it, in October of 2007. And so the houses that we took pictures of and everything are gone. And so now it's time to um, get ready for next season, which is 2008. And it will be 2008 when you see this here. Everything went really well until I looked for show number 13, and it was nowhere to be found. And so we're going to just have to improvise here some kind of way. And last week I told you the sound and everything is fine, and for the most part it is. But there's some explanations necessary here because the way it came out could be somewhat confusing. Um, Tina and I are still on Highway 14 trying to get home um, because the footage was lost. We did not want to just hop and skip. So what we did is we took bits and pieces of the same highway at other time periods, and we're going to get you home. And this was a truck here that this guy had just had to go ahead and get around it and almost killed himself. And we'll get back to that driver again here after a while. Um, we are now in Chama. I'll boost the sound for you a little bit and see what happens. This would be Highway 500. That goes to many neighborhoods. It also goes to Battleground. The weird thing is that the speed limit is 50. To remind you, this whole trip was about, well, we went to California, and while we were doing this, Tina was a sponsor and had never worked a camera before. And so we thought that while I'm teaching her, I could teach you also, because many of you sent footage from places that unfortunately I can't use. So what happens is if you send something and I have to edit it or cut it, the problem is it will also cut out the audio and then nothing, is in sync. And so that was one of the reasons that we left lots of bits and pieces of the show to show you what is a good shot. This is a good shot here, and what isn't, so that I'm able to eventually show all of the footage that you sent me. In 2007, Laurie Johnson went to Greece and Russia and China. We are here on Highway 500. Tina liked horses and old buildings. Anyway, Laurie Johnson sent many, many clips, and we'll show you this in some upcoming things. So I think it took a total of, 15 months to finish all of this. The Martians came in 8 show number 13. That's all I can tell you. Because it just wasn't here. So here's your new version of it. I'm going to put the sound up on it. When you hear a sound and then nothing, that's when I have to cut. So, I don't know, maybe it'll do it again here. It's not going to do it. See, the dialogue itself is not really relevant. Yeah, there it is. It just gets quiet.
We don't have to wait till they put it all up, do they?
I hope not. Because if not, I see how quickly you get through those roads.
That's like taking your car to the mechanic. You tell him what's wrong with it. The minute he looks at it, quits doing it. Same here. There you go. You heard that. We'll do it one more time.
Don't know what this is.
Not gonna do it.
Wow,
Well, anyway, we didn't know what
forth.
this whole thing was all about, and it turned out that
Ooh, they're in trouble.
they were bringing a mobile home into this place, and that's where we got kind of detained for a while. What was interesting to us was that
No, please don't.
a little while ago, we were telling you where this car passed this truck and almost got ran over.
Thank you.
And he was in such a hurry, he got ahead of us and some kind of way ended up, of course, right here in the same place. And so now, I guess he showed up late for work or something, but it was a company car, and there he is, and we were real tempted to report him. And so they just pulled a house in there. I think we were there good, 40 minutes to an hour, maybe. There the house is. Half a house. And that's, I guess, it's between Bashugal and chemtrails.
Oh, look, I think
The chemtrails is not the name of the place. She was just showing you some chemtrails. So it was kind of interesting, because we had nothing else to do, and this would be Mount St. Helens. That still had snow on it. So we're on the move again. Mount St. Helens. That has no top on it. There you go. And as always, it was rattling and had earthquakes while we were in the vicinity.
You have to remember where the shop is. And keep an eye open to where we want to park tonight. Sometimes we get invited.
So anyway, we just kind of talking along here, the places we're going to.
Why is that?
I think we are right outside of
It's a market.
where's Sugar?
Overnight. Okay. Mount St. Helens, ash and glass.
Yeah, we are definitely in the foothills of Mount St. Helens.
Where?
Hey,
This must be it. Here.
we are in Toledo. I know where we are. That is actually
Here, the
Lisa Belsky and I, when we did the story on Toledo. I'm gonna boost the sound. I'm almost sure you can hear that. So let's give it a try.
That's where we're going. So what I think we'll do is park it down here.
It is,
and then
so
walk
I'm
back.
going to butt
This is
out.
a one way. So we'll go here. Telephone. Look, they got their own telephone company. What do you think of that? How crazy. See it here?
Yeah.
It's West Washington, Willpa Bay and Volcano Country. There's some interesting facts that we found, and then of course Toledo would be right here. Maybe not. Well, it is, but this is better here. And we found out some interesting facts already. We're gonna go to the antique shop we showed you, and the lady has offered to take us upstairs. Now the lady at the shop, they gave us a little booklet, 2004 Lewis County travel guide. In this travel guide we found a little tidbit that we thought was really interesting, because Chehalis is actually the last town that we came from. So it is Olympia, Centralia, Chehalis, and then Toledo. So I'm going to read this to you here. And the little tidbit is Chehalis, the city of sand. Chehalis was originally named Saunderville after former New York steward Schuyler Saunders, who in 1851 staked out 640 acres of a donation land claimed on what is now downtown Chehalis. He established the first post office on May 8th, 1858 in his home. So showing you this while I'm reading this is kind of boring, so instead I'm going to show you some beautiful flowers that we got since we've been here. The native Chehalis people called the area Chehalis, which meant sands, due to the wet winters which produced sheets of water in the downlands, a view which was quite beautiful when the sun shone. Shone, what a word. The Chehalis people were a dominant force in the area long before the Europeans arrived. The people used the river as their main means of transportation and to fish for salmon. They ate the berries which grew along the banks of the river and traded with other peoples who lived along the extensive Chehalis and Cowlitz River system. With the Europeans came new diseases, which nearly wiped the people out. However, they survived, and today the Confederate tribes of the Chehalis are based in Oakville. So I thought that might be a little nice tidbit before we go to the antique shop. And this one here basically talks about Toledo, the town that she's built. I'm sure the lady will tell you about it, but a lot to do here has to do with cheese. They just have cheese festivals and cheese days. The father and the mothers of Washington State, Matilda Jackson, John and Matilda Jackson, they settled here in the Prairie. The Jackson House is 5 miles north of here. And the Jackson Highway, that's what they call the main highway that goes from Olympia all the way down to Portland. And then it actually goes directly from Tomwoody to Toledo. And it's the gateways to Mount St. Helens. When the eruption of 1980 occurred, Toledo was spared much of the devastation because the way it was located. So they were lucky on that. And this is Miss Lisa here. She is with me here today as a camera person and just to keep me company. How about that? So are you ready to go to the antique shop?
I'm ready.
Cool. And we just had lunch at Harry's. We're gonna go back tonight. There's a ghost living at Harry's.
Harry himself.
Harry himself, they said. Really pretty flowers here. Right outside here where we parked. And that's where we're going. We're going upstairs to find more goodies. Of course, I came down to pick up some things that were here a couple of months ago. Guess what? They're gone already. The guy had a haircut. Look at him. This is a beautiful table here. I spotted it as soon as I got here. Just to remind you, we have taken you here before with Mrs. Oberg. And just give you another... Hello, Mr. Oberg, how are you? We couldn't stay away. With this new haircut. Wow! Spinning wheel. Wow! To remind you, we are at the Cowlitz River Antiques with Robert and Marie Oberg on 2nd and Augusta Street.
Well, no, this is removed. This is 111 2nd Street.
They moved. It's 111 2nd Street, but you can't miss it. That's a new doll. Well, and she pretty. The young teapot that Barb had that time on the other show, it's still here. Marbles, marbles. Fruit basket. Ooh, they look almost real. Look at there. Found cast iron skillets. Awesome. Steins from Europe. Didn't see those the last time either. Mask. I'm not sure, but I think that's a piece of an armadillo. It's laid on its back, I think. My like. It's an alligator purse. Look at that baby. Leave it to me, it's not for sale. Only thing I want in the whole place, like always. Yeah, pretty, yeah, look at that. Wow. Yes, a serious looking fellow. And that noise you hear is the air conditioning. This is a beautiful piece also. It's silver. And here's a mask. A pretty statue. Green machine from...
So that one has special meaning. How you doing here? No, I display him. He's gonna come upstairs a little later this summer. Through this doorway here where you're standing. Then all of that is 1892. It's just as it was when it was first put in. Not really too many changes. Right? The doors still have the original hardware with the locks. And of course the two girls are waiting for their boyfriends to arrive.
Oh,
And when they first built this place, it was a dance hall.
Was it?
And the loggers came in here at night on the weekends. And the girls would dance with them when the music played. They had a fellow that played the violin, you know, to play a little music. And then when he would stop, there was a man on the floor with tickets. And it was 25 cents. You bought another ticket and you could dance with the girl until the music stopped.
Do you know the Navajos still do that when you go dancing? You get paid? Yeah, so when we talk, we always say, let's go dancing.
To dance with the girls, see?
Cool.
And in 2 years' time, he completely paid for this building.
A lot of dancing.
By a lot of music, a lot of violin music.
Upstairs window here, yeah.
Upstairs.
So we're now upstairs.
Yeah, this was probably just a kind of a little entrance area here when they first came in. Maybe up the stairwell that's been since taken out of here.
Look at the chandelier here. Wow, it's beautiful. Of course, there's the air conditioner because it's cold. I mean, it's hot.
The chandelier I put in. And it has a great history. It's all handmade out of wrought iron.
Just out of crystal?
Well, it's wrought iron, but it has crystal. There's little crystal chandeliers and brass fixtures. And in the catalog, which I was able to acquire, it's over $5,000 too.
Oh my.
And another one, all handmade. And I couldn't figure out why it should be so expensive, excepting that each wire must go through the wrought iron tubing somehow and all be hooked together. It's kind of a unique operation. Because it's a marvelous painting. It's Dutch. It says right on the back of it, it is from Holland, but we can't find the artist. I have been up and down the internet over and over and over, and I cannot find him. Montana.
Montana, yeah.
And he is a hand-done Crow Indian. And he's wearing the excuse me just a second.
Yeah. I'm going to give you another shot of this painting here. It's gorgeous. Yes, Lisa?
Yes.
In charge of everything?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For dinner.
For a sit-down dinner.
As she said, this is an old Masonic building. And
Their first meeting here. They're the ones that probably put in a kitchen area. All of the door woodwork and stuff may have been in 1919 a fancy addition with windows done properly. I've had these doors put in for an office area. And I keep all my historical archival stuff in there. Sit down and have you bring us pizza.
copyrighted 1945.
Now those pictures that are on the table there are all copies that those particular ones that came out of the Los County Historical Museum, and they hold the original. This I've had for years, so I have an original paper on that. Anyway, now I'm getting ready. See, the big plate glasses are coming in, and then behind, from the edge of that door over, will be a big display case here where we can put like the mannequins right inside dressed in vintage clothing so that we can see what they're up to. Yeah. This is the way the town looked. This actually about 1892. This building was built.
No, is that the street we're on right now?
Yeah. Earlier that your parents came on Lewis and Clark Trail. Where did they originate?
Oh, my family?
Yeah.
Oh, Revolutionary War peoples. I have a tremendous genealogy.
From where?
Massachusetts.
Well, before then, from what European area?
Probably English. He was
English.
Yeah, the name.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Scottish background.
Yeah.
They came in the 1790s, 1792. Yeah. Down in here, vintage is it's always been. They have put the electricals in there.
Looks Dutch to me. I was just telling Lisa, I went to a couple of places and I know the Dutch had to build it because it's so steep, you know.
Yes. Very.
Photograph here.
That's how the old Huntington home Longview. It's a charcoal or a pen and ink drawing of Bancroft and the great authors, the great writers of our time, and their names are inscribed right along here. Mark Twain is in there. Bancroft, of course, is in the front there. Thoreau, Longfellow, Emerson, all the ones who in the early 1800s were, and this I've seen in art history. But the family, Huntington is in here too. There was a branch of the Huntington family in Longview, see, and somehow or other they got a copy of it. It's in the same frame, except that in an earthquake it fell off the wall. And did a little damage to it, but in
Cycles.
well, the motorcycle club comes here all the time.
Oh, it's motorcycle club.
And sometimes we have like 50 or 60 of them.
Oh, here we go.
And I made a book of all the pictures of the town. And it's a good way kind of to start.
You know, what do you say to people that keep all their information in their head?
I know a lot of people have good stories to tell.
Right.
I know they do. And we've been doing interviews, collecting stories. But compiling a whole book. I have a whole book of stories from around this area. And I think pretty much everybody I talk to, there is some story that works in. But it's hard sometimes for some people to tell their story.
Oh, yeah.
Because their story is their life. And when you tell your life, sometimes you see the down instead of the high points. And people have a natural tendency, the mother said, don't brag.
Right.
So they must not brag on themselves.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult, I think, particularly for our older generation, to tell what they did and how they did things.
But if they
Because
don't...
to them it was life. They were living, and life was very hard and very harsh. And out here in the West, my family first came west in 1869. And they've always had big cattle ranches. My grandfather always was on a horse. He had spurs, so you could hear him coming with the clink, clink, clink. And, you know, he never thought he did anything special. What are you doing? I am working today. He was 97 when he died. He's still out checking his cattle. And I think the only way people can find a story is to find some common thread of, you know, and talk, and then you find a story.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to bring it out, hard to find it.
Yeah, but a lot of people, they just don't want to talk about it, and then it's lost to the rest of us. It's so
because
sad.
there's sad things that happen to them.
Yeah.
And it just drums up sad things. And if you can instigate them to look at something, and I found it's like here.
Hang on just a minute.
And then you start to talk. And then all at once he says, you know, I think that's my uncle. Oh, I remember that was so-and-so's car, and this was so-and-so's horse. And we came to town that day because this was our first cheese day. And it was such an exciting day. Then the stories began to roll. I interviewed this Mrs. Kirkendall out here at NAB. She's 100 years old. It was her birthday. She died about a week after I talked to her. And that's what, she just kept going. She said, I have so much in my head to tell. And I was there probably, I didn't record it, but I did take some notes.
Yeah.
And these pictures are just museum copies of stuff, you know. You could go up here to Lewis County Museum, much as I did, and they'll give you all this stuff is on record up there. It's also on record down here at the Cowlitz County. I could tell you the stories that go with all of this, but yeah. And I think that the trick in getting a good story is having some reference points. It's hard to come by sometimes. Hard to find.
Never have reference points. I just make it up as I go.
As you go up.
Yeah.
Pictures that are neat.
So do you have any Native American?
Here, see this? And these men have been up here working the haywire. And they're just waiting to get the engines to push them back into Toledo at night. And you know, the sad part with the train would be coming. And they said here in town they could hear the whistle blowing. And if they had, usually pretty much every day, but not always, someone would have been killed in the woods.
In the woods.
The death rate was just tremendous. And they would just have the body on the flat car, and the train whistle would be blowing when it came over the bridge over here. This is what the stories they tell us. And they knew the undertaker, that was his signal to get down with his cart and pick whoever up. This young fellow is setting chokers.
Oh, excuse me.
These little things here are what they call Peter hooks.
That's what's in that tree at the Polish ladies at the hotel. And I didn't know what that was. They called what?
Peter hooks.
Peter hooks. All right. Now I know what that is. All right.
They use them when they set the cables.
Mm-hmm.
This is some of my husband's family. This was one of the old logging camps, and all the little houses are on flat cars so they can move them about. This was right out here locally. Here's the first relatives that came from the old countries. When they came.
Oberg is German, huh?
Sweet.
Sweet. Oh, okay.
Umeå, Sweden. Good. Whole family came. Even the mother. She finally came over. Kids all got over here. She was by herself. She finally moved over for a while. Then she went home. This is the camp cooks. My husband's aunt. Very difficult living situation. She and her husband were married a year before they could tell anyone. The girls were not allowed to be married. If they were married, they could not be in logging camp. Only single women worked in kitchens and served food. That's the way it was. There weren't any married women in there. These guys are up on springboards, boards. Yeah. Pulling the sweets off. Big old saws. We've got some of them, one of his cousins has like a logging museum down
Excuse
here.
me a bit, huh?
He has sweet saws, boards.
So much light coming
Is
this
there
way.
too much light on it?
So this again. There you go. Now we got it. This is much better.
This is a donkey here. See the donkey? Guy wires. They hook the logs on and then go. This was they had a fellow that gave all hand signals. That's something you want to record some way. Find somebody that knows the donkey hand signals and record them. You know, slow, oh, like that.
Do you know some of them?
Yeah, just a few. This one's to go. That's only what I know. This one's slow.
Cool.
And then you have a little thing you do like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know too many. I remember watching my dad give the signal for the log to come. My husband and I both raised in logging camps. It's a hard, really hard life.
Yeah, well, you know, it's kind of a two-edged sword. I did a show called Bang Bang You're Dead, where I showed, we went to the rainforest and then we showed all the trees that is no longer there.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, we hardly have
Around here,
any
they're
trees
required
still
to
left.
plant them all back. Every tree is cut, you have to plant back, so nobody logs. And then if you go out here, you can see all the reforestation.
But where I went, they didn't log them again.
They
no.
didn't do it.
No, and no.
But see what happened here? See how they clear cut in the early days? This was right after World War I. But where I grew up, we had what they called second growth. And in 1900, right around the turn of the century, 1890s to 1910, they had already cut all the old growth out, logged it out. And then it grew back. And then about 1950, every 50 years, then they came through and did another cut.
Yeah, but the respect for the environment just isn't what it used to be, unfortunately.
Well, in those days, they just took the best stuff. The rest of it, they just left it lay, rotted it up.
Or cut it in two. So you say the Native Americans did what
They
with
had a
the
better
trees?
program because they used to just go out and light the woods on fire.
On fire.
So the elk and the deer could come down and there'd be grass for them.
Yeah.
And if they didn't burn the underbrush in the summertime and start forest fires, of course a lot of them were lightning hit, but a lot of times, particularly along the coast, the Indians always burned the brush in the summer to get so the deer had something to eat the next season. And that way the animals would come in closer, so they didn't have to go so far to hunt.
To hunt. How cool, yeah.
Some good ideas.
Put the old windows down.
See the old windows?
How cool.
It's gonna come down now. That just keep the sun out there.
This is the Cowlitz River in Toledo, Washington. In 2008, we will do this storyline from the perspective of the Cowlitz Native Americans. That's already in the making, so summer of 2008, you will get the other side of the story.
Oh, you're back already. We had to leave the cat here, so she was very unhappy. And, but we brought her some treats. Well,
And here we are, talking about how we had to leave Miss E.T. at home, and how the storylines are interwoven when we go on journeys. And of course, Tina and I came back at night, so we missed a lot of these things. And so I thought it was appropriate we put that in there because Toledo is on our way home. And when we kind of go with the flow, we meet wonderful people, and I was just happy that I remembered I had that footage from before. And so now we're gonna feed the cat because she was real touchy about having been alone for so long. So we're almost home.
Here you go, but there's your Dairy Queen, honey. No cars.
Cool.
This is the Cowlitz River from the other side of the highway, on the Winlock side. Now, there you can really hear when I have to cut it what that sounds like.
And we're going to the rinky-dinky town of Toledo.
That's right. These are the rinky-dinky farms closest.
Beautiful.
Yes, we did.
But it's not to think about going to see it takes time.
Yeah, it is. No, she didn't say Centralia.
Right. St. Mary's, that's the Cowlitz headquarters, Cowlitz Natives. It's a tribal center there.
You got it.
is the tribal center. This is the tribal. This is the tribal center that is right on my route.
We're on the west side of the Cascades about now.
There's another one. That's a beautiful drive.
Red, white, and blue street markers.
With sugar. That's very, very irritating.
Confusing Lilian.
I didn't know what that was. What is that?
With sugar is usually on my route.
India, Pendeza, Hakuna Matata. India, Moja, Hakuna Matata. India, watoto moja, Hakuna Matata. Waheri wageni, Hakuna Matata.
Thank you very much. And you know the strange thing? I know that song. My sister Spider has so many
Yeah, the
babies.
little girls were from Kenya.
Sister Spider, and I was drawing her, and I didn't know what to put on the inside, so I thought, gosh, a baby. It took me a month, and I finally came up with a baby. So I
This is
drew
one of
Spider
our
on the
natives.
inside, and that inspired me to write the story, why Sister Spider has so many babies. Do you want me to read you the story?
You could. Is it
Yeah, I have. No, it's not a lot at all.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we'll do it.
Why Sister Spider has so many babies. There was a sad, lonely Sister Spider who lived in a tall evergreen tree that overlooked a human village. She was very sad because she had no one to care for or love. Every day she would watch a human family that lived below the evergreen tree. There was a mother, a father, and a baby. They were so happy playing and working together and caring for each other. The more Sister Spider watched the human family, the sadder she became. She longed for such happiness. One day, she decided that she did not want to be sad anymore. She asked herself, what makes that human family so happy? After a lot of thought, she decided that it must be their baby. The next day before the sun came out, Sister Spider crept from her web. She went soundly. She gently picked the baby up and caressed him. She carried the baby out of his home as quietly as she had entered and ran quickly to her home in the evergreen tree. Sister Spider was so excited and happy. She had someone to love, to care for, and keep her company. She had the human baby for only a short time when once again she looked down at the human family, but this time when she looked down, something was very different. The human family was sobbing. Where's my baby? The father was trying to comfort the mother. Sorry, I missed the part. There were streams of tears coming from their eyes. The human family was no longer happy. Sister Spider started crying as well. She was very upset that she was causing so much pain. In her haste to be happy, she didn't stop to consider the effects of her actions would have on the human family. She wanted the family to be happy again. After she got up enough courage, Sister Spider brought the baby back to his parents. She explained her situation to them and asked them for forgiveness. The family was so happy to have their baby back. They were very kind to Sister Spider. They granted her forgiveness and invited her to visit them any time. As Spider returned home, she felt more sad and lonely than ever before. She curled up in her lonely web and cried. Meanwhile, the human mother and father were talking. They felt sad that Sister Spider was so unhappy. They asked the creator of the earth for help. The creator thought over the situation. Spider is aware of her mistake. She had enough courage to bring the baby back to his parents. Once she realized her mistake, it was obvious that she really cared about how the family felt. Because of this, the creator decided that Spider should be rewarded for her honesty, courage, and caring. Sister Spider was rewarded with not just one baby, but with hundreds and hundreds. Sister Spider was happier than she had ever been in her entire life. Now she had her very own babies to love, care for, and to keep her company. Sister Spider was never sad or lonely again, and to this day, all spiders have hundreds and hundreds of babies to care for and love.
What a wonderful story. Why, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we are at Ocean Shores. Now we're taking you to the open ocean here. There's lots of birds. And then the hotel back here, every once in a while, I'm going to bring that in. The water will go all the way up to there. It sure will, the high tides. That's how far the water comes when we have high tides. At this time. There you go. Can't miss us. It's a warm day at the Pacific Ocean. We're going to go inside and I'm going to show you some of the wonderful things. The shadow, you see, it's me filming. Of course, it's 100 degrees everywhere else and it's cold here. It was. And this is the outside of the Alpine furniture store. And they sell espressos, so come right along. So as you come in here, immediately you have wind chimes. And it smells so good. The combination between the fresh wood and the coffee, it just hits you in the face and you say, "Good morning." Now, as you know, it's 8:30 or 9, it's not even 9 o'clock. So for me to feel like that, it must be good. Good coffee, good coffee. So I'm going to give you a walk around here. It's just incredible. Look at that bar stool here. And we're going to talk to the young man here, and he's going to explain some of these things. Then you have arts and crafts on this table. And now this caught my eye a little bit here. Now I like this one really well, but the one that sold my heart is this wall unit here. Oh my. There come a time we can put smells on. Look at this baby here. On video for you so you can experience what that smelled like. Now isn't that incredible? It's for your television and big drawers and probably stay in your family for 4 or 5 generations. Like it's amazing how universe, we think we're going one way and the universe is really taking it somewhere else. I was really fortunate to have taken one of the sponsors with me.
Yeah, well here, oops, excuse me, here again, you can't hear that very good. When I went to California, to Los Angeles and places in 2007, I met a lot of people in the industries, me and Ebony, and what happened was they gave me a mic. Some of the hosts from MTV gave me this mic. And all I have to do is look at it, and it'll blow me out of the water. And I saw when you hear these awful noises, it's the professional MTV mic. Basically, when I was talking here, we made it home. We were happy that a sponsor came with us. So this way, she could see that not only could she learn something, the money is well spent for those of you that ever want to put. Yeah, that if you ever wanna, you know, if you ever wanna go with me and hear mentioning Oprah Winfrey, when Oprah and Gail went on the road, they thought they would lose their friendship because they couldn't get along. But the thing is here, when you go on journeys, you learn a lot about each other, the places around you, and if you don't forget your focus while you went in the first place, you'll be just fine. So next week is the summary. I'm glad you came along and learned how to work that camera. So I'm looking forward to your footage, and we see you next week. And so come right along as we just sing it right out of here. Bye. Well, I'll tell you bye again later, but for right now, okay. Just to remind you, we had cows and yeah, give you an instant recap. I just moved my finger and you could hear that. So much for MTV mics. Cows, cows everywhere. So from the Ethnic Fest, we're going to get back to our storyteller and see if she has more spider stories. And we bid you goodbye until next week. And thank you, crew, and hope you had a good time.
Miss Lilian, we'd like to thank you for all the fun you took us here. Take us down, and it's just because you really care where our journey goes. All is part of our planning will extend. And if we do our part, we'll fill our mission. We've had fun. baby's hair.